Mr. Smith, I'd like to direct this to you. Is this the end of the road for Johnny?
I believe it is. I know one could argue you can't say that with Vince McMahon coming out with something in the AAF, and I guess, I mean, if that qualifies as a chance, okay.
But Vince says if you have any prior arrests, even a DUI, that you can't be in the league.
Okay, well then that rules out Johnny Manziel. So
how's he gonna have a league?
The AAF. That's what he said.
How's he gonna have a league, right? That's a good question about Max. How's he gonna have a league? Here's what I'm saying in all seriousness. Johnny Manziel, the fact he didn't get let go by the team. He got let go by the league. The league is prohibiting any team from having him as a part of their league. You know how bad that is? When the league sits up there and says, we won't allow anybody to touch you because we believe that you're that bad, without giving the details as to what your transgression was. When you combine that with the kind of stuff that he got involved, alcohol, and then obviously he got into the issue with, you know, his girlfriend at the time, you know, the domestic dispute. I'm saying, so you got the NFL, and you never even completed 60% of your passes. You got the NFL as an issue, the behavioral issues, and then you got banned from Canada. Oh,
and they're so nice up in Canada,
that's what
too.
I was gonna say.
They're very nice.
They're
very nice.
Right?
For them to ban you?
Look,
you can sleep with your doors unlocked in Canada.
Look, we know the character issues and everything with Johnny Manziel, right?
Yes.
Maybe if he had a Russell Wilson personality, he could have made it in the NFL, maybe. But I got to tell you something about the Combine. He was not quite the athlete at the Combine that we thought he was, right? Because it's hard to gauge sometimes when you can do some things on the college level. It looks like you look fast, you look athletic, and then you get compared to the pros, and it's a little different. In baseball, it's called a 4A player. A guy who can tear it up in AAA, and that should result, because they have formulas that'll tell you what he'll do in the major leagues, but somehow it doesn't quite translate to the majors. Or in Japan, they can tear it up, and not quite, it's called a 4A player. AAA is right below the majors. This guy is really a 4A player. I think Johnny Manziel had 4A talent. And I think that's really the issue. So if you have that kind of talent and you do everything just right, maybe you can make it. But there's no margin for error. And really what it comes down to with him is he wasn't quite talented enough to overcome this stuff. And I think this is the end of the line for him.
I disagree with both of you. I don't think this is the end of the road for Johnny Manziel. Max, you might be right that he's a 4A player, but that's exactly why there'll be another opportunity for him, because there's two new 4A leagues, essentially, in the AAF, and we'll see how principled Vince McMahon is about prior arrests with the XFL. Now, I do agree, Stephen A., it's incredibly eyebrow-raising to not just be cut from the Montreal Alouettes, but to say you are barred from the CFL. No other teams can sign you, and it's even more eyebrow-raising when we've heard nothing in terms of an arrest or any kind of trouble with the law whatsoever. I don't know if there's something that's missed the American news wires that's happened in Canada, but it's an extremely harsh reaction to something we don't know that he violated. We don't even know. What they're saying is he violated the terms and conditions of his employment. We don't know what those original terms and conditions were, much less which one he violated now.
Are we allowed to imagine?
You would assume it's extremely
The only
severe.
reason I'm bringing that up, I'm saying the only reason I'm asking, are we allowed to imagine? I've heard a lot of very fascinating things about the city of Montreal. I've never been there, but I've heard a lot.
You ever been to Montreal?
Never.
Oh, Montreal's fantastic.
You avoided going to Montreal.
I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot. Because I love Toronto.
So is Quebec
I love the
City.
city of Toronto, and I've been told it's nothing compared to Montreal.
Oh, I just want everyone to know. I'm talking about the shopping. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't know what they're talking about either.
Fantastic shopping. Yeah.
But I just want to say this. Unless it comes back, if the unknowns don't come back, extremely awful and extreme to justify this, he'll get another opportunity in the AAF or the XFL.
I think that's a good point. I think it's not impossible, but if he is doing things to get himself banned from Canada, not just the Canadian Football League, but the country of Canada.
He's not kicked out of Canada.
He's really got to get stuff together and fast, because he does not have the kind of talent that makes it automatic.
And he's gotten a lot of chances. Hey, Will, what's coming up on the Will Cain show today? What are you excited to talk
about? We got a little Kyler Murray, a little Combine talk. get into lying season. I don't know. You know, hey, real quick, you know what I really liked? Although I disagree with it? I did like Mr. Kellerman's idea about the Steelers potentially trading Ben Roethlisberger. I think it's a flawed thinking. He's a little too in the paper on this one, theory, but I do think it's at least interesting idea.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't recommend it, but I think you got to talk to some guys in that locker room, see maybe how would you guys feel about that and suss it out.
I was
Feel
watching.
it out.
It's an interesting thought. Wrong, but interesting.